Wanted to get your take on the future of music, which I understand you recently were nominated for a pretty prestigious award, and so you've got to have a take on it.
Yeah, I think music teachers and art teachers are always thinking about the future because we deal so much with technology. I mean, all educators do. I mean, that's so part of what we do now in education, dealing with computers and technology and projections, just everything, the way the kids are so immersed in technology. It used to be that you could talk to kids and lecture to kids and expect them to pay attention, but that doesn't happen anymore. It's not that kids don't have attention spans. They don't have attention spans for that kind of delivery. I think people used to say, kids are always, people complain that kids can't pay attention anymore, but they can. They can sit and play a video game for hours at a time. So it's just they need immediate feedback and they need that kind of interactivity that I think you have to provide.
So adapting that teaching process.
But I think the beauty of music is that in music you're participating all the time. You never sit and listen to somebody hopefully lecture at you. You're doing it, and there always needs to be that kind of thing for kids to do.
So the award. Tell me a little bit about what the award is.
Well, it's Oregon Teacher of the Year, and that's way down the line. Who knows?
Way down the line.
Yeah, they don't. I was nominated for it, and you submit a lot of essays and writing about education, and so we send it off and we forget about it.
Well, so hopefully you'll get it. But is it just the music?
No, it's teacher period. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then, let's kind of pull it back into. The music, the plays, the orchestras, the teaching, all of that. You mentioned to me during the break that you've directed 40
musicals, I think, something like that. Yeah,
that's quite a few.
Yeah.
Any aspect of, well, I mean, there's so many aspects, I suppose, to each one of those. Is there any of those things that you just feel really strongly about, maybe over some of the others? Some stuff that's feels more like a job, and the other stuff that feels more like just playtime?
I think that's true of everything.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think no matter what you do, I think if it's a hobby or if it's a job, there are times when it feels like it's joyful, and there's times when it feels like work.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that there's more of one than the other.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great job if the percentage is towards the joy. And I think what I love about doing musicals, and I think this is true of the orchestra, is the aspect of taking all those disparate pieces and putting them together. And hopefully inspiring people to give their best effort and inspiring them to understand what they contribute to the process, and then seeing how it all works out, and the unexpected moments of beauty that happen, even, that you're not prepared for.
Right.
That just arise.
Right.
But that's what keeps me coming back to it, is this, the prospect of putting all these things into place.
Yeah.
Whether you're writing them or, putting together something that's already there.
So with the Columbia Gorge Orchestra Association, what are some of the things you're working on right now, or sort of the future of that?
Right. Well, we have a season coming up. We're going to be doing this is kind of exciting. We're doing a program I think in October, for the orchestra of all Oregon composers. So it's just music written by Oregonians at different times in different places. And we're going to be awarding a composition prize, to a grad student from one of the universities. So we've started a new composition award.
Oh, nice.
And people have submitted things. So we're going to be doing the world premiere of some new student music at that. And that's pretty exciting. We haven't picked it yet. I don't know who it's going to be. And then the program in winter is going to be all concertos. So it's going to feature mostly student performers doing violin concertos and piano concertos and saxophone concertos and whatever. So it's all featured soloists. And then the final program will be probably pop music and Broadway kind of things. We brought in Elvis last spring, right? We had Elvis come in and
I saw that on the website for the association.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. We have a pretty full program. And then as far as the children's choir, really it's just getting going. So we're going to see where that's headed. We've had one meeting, had about 45 kids show up. And
really?
Yeah, we'll start again in September.
So with that, have you had, well, children, and you're teaching at the high school level, so do you ever have students that end up, you work together with them later on, a little later in life?
Sure. I used to do a children's choir years ago, and I kind of ran out of time, and I had a lot of requests to bring it back, so that's what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it hopefully to get those kids turned on to singing. And in Hood River, we've cut elementary music by half for next year. So it's another way of providing a little bit more music, for kids at that grade level.
Is there still quite a few kids that are really hungry for this?
I think everybody is hungry for it,
Yeah.
whether they know it or not. I think everybody is hungry for some sort of, experience of contribution in art. Most people don't get it, and it's too bad. But I think almost everybody would enjoy doing something like
Yeah.
that. And, everybody says they can't do it, and I think, I truly believe everybody can. I really do. And I think the kids have amazing potential, and they settle often for less than they could really be, just because nobody's expected it of them.
Are you ever too young or too old to learn?
I don't think so. I think that you sometimes reach a point where physically you can't do what you used to be able to do, or you don't have the energy for it, but I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I think it gets maybe a little harder than when you get older, but I have kids, or people in the orchestra that are in their late 70s, 80 years old. One of the things we always talk to the kids about is you can't play football when you're 80, but you can.
Yeah.
You can play the violin.
Right. These people that are like in their late 70s and stuff, what are the instruments that they're generally playing?
Mostly they're string players.
Okay. So I think wind instruments would be difficult.
Yeah, there's some brass players that are in their late, 60s. People just keep playing. There's singers that are certainly in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Do you think the Gorge has any impact on your music and your inspiration?
Yeah, the geographical location?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a beautiful area. I take kids to Scotland, and Ireland, and you look at those beautiful landscapes, and, it's overwhelming. But then you come and look in the Gorge, and just as nice. You take it for granted. But I think that's the great thing about travel is you come back and you appreciate again what you already have.
Right.
I don't know in terms of direct input on the music so much. There's a great arts community here. There's a lot of support for music.
Yeah. Because I know you'll hear, there'll be an interview being done with a musician or a pop star or something, and they had an experience or they were at a particular place and it inspired this song. Mm-hmm. Is that not so much the case working the way that you work, do you think?
Yeah, I don't see that too much. I'm writing a musical called Avalon for the high school next year, which is based on Arthurian mythology, and it's a steampunk science fiction musical which combines all these strange elements. But
wow.
Yeah, it takes place in Avalon, which is actually Glastonbury, England, which is a huge hill in the middle of the countryside. It's a sacred spot. It's been there forever. So we went to Glastonbury on the last tour, and I just sat on the hill and overlooked the valley and thought, this is, where my thing takes place. This is where it's happening. And I was thinking, well, and I heard music. The kids were actually singing in a tower that's been there since 1100. So you had this element of music coming, and then you had planes flying over, and you had the countryside. And it kind of, to me, it encapsulated what the musical was all about. This ancient landscape and music and technology all together. And, certainly geography can inspire art. For me, it never has directly, but, certainly
from time to time it can.
Yeah. I mean, the experience of living here is certainly great.
Thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate you sharing with us and getting to meet you.
Sure.
Sounds
all
right. Thanks you guys for watching. Look forward to seeing you again next time right here on Localite, and take care of each other.
Do you have a guest idea? Let us know. Go to localite.com.